Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've been doing well. Today we are here to review the Spider-Man new red and blue suit from SH Figuarts. Now this figure is more or less the same as the last, I would say, 3 Spider-Man releases from the TASM, the regular, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, we just call him Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire, Raimi Spider-Man, whatever. And then also the Final Battle Edition Tom Holland version. So yeah, it's nothing too different along the lines of articulation, but of course the design is very different. So this one is going to probably be a much more shorter review just for that reason. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So of course, got to talk about the design here, and the ending of that movie is still just, it's amazing. I love the new suits. How, do we know if we're going to get this suit again in the next movie? I don't know. If you've seen some of the Captain America New World Order photos, is looking a little rough for Sam there. He's not got the same suit. So I'm not really sure if we're going to see this same exact suit in the next movie, which is why, I was even more rushed to grab this because I really love the colors and everything too. But yeah, it's a great looking suit. Now we have seen in like the concept art various different versions of this suit, which blow my mind because they had various different eyes that they wanted to use, and I loved more of the comic styled wider eyes that they would have went with. It would have looked so good, but they went with the natural ones, which they also gave you another head for, which I'll show briefly soon. The emblem is still black. I don't know why in the concept it was gold. I don't know if that would have turned out so well, especially with these colors. I don't know if I would have liked that, but very much so. It is a great figure all around, and I love the way that this blue just reflects on the lighting. It just looks so amazing. Quick notes, they have shown that they can fill these in accurately, so I don't know why they chose not to do it this time. If you've seen even other anime figures from Tamashii Nations, they've clearly done it. So it seems just kind of like they didn't feel like they needed to do it here, which is in some regards maybe a little lazy, but it is what it is. I will say this figure actually comes with fist hands, which is again, it's a little weird. Why they gave fist hands to him and not various other Spider-Man figures, I'll never understand. That should be pretty standard for every single figure that comes out from them. Like, there's no reason not to have fists for any figure. So glad that they did that, because I think a lot of people would have been pissed. But regardless, good figure all around. So I'll briefly show the accessories, and then we'll get into the articulation. So be right back. So in this set, you get 3 different webs, a long, a medium, and a small. So kind of just barely whipping it out. A swinging web. This one attaches to one of the hands, and these have the little holes that you attach to the wrist for kind of shooting a web, etc. It would have been cool, I think, to have 2 long ones, just because, why not? But for the price, I guess they said, that's all you get. If you do have prior Spider-Man releases from Mayfix or any other SHF releases, all those webs will fit the same. It's just a matter of, I guess, if you care about consistency in terms of the coloring and whatnot. So there is that. You also get a little tool. This is to help you take out this little piece in the back, which you can plug in a piece that connects to the stands. I'll briefly show you kind of how to do that. So you just want to make sure you slide it in there, and then you kind of push out like so. Then you can just grab it with your fingernail, and there you go. And to show you what the other one looks like, it's like this, and this fits into standard Tamashii Nation stands. It will not fit into like a Mayfix stand, for example. So you just match it up, with the ridges. All right, we dropped it and lost it. But you just match it up with the ridges like so, put it in the hole, and then you push. Now, I'm personally not gonna put it in all the way again. It is a little hard to take it out with this tool again if you push it all the way in. So just be wary of that. And of course, this piece just goes back normal. I mean, I'm sure you can match it up pretty easily just looking at the, legs and the head, and you push it back in. And it's just like this figure. So I believe Tasm Spidey and Raimi Spidey don't have this on their back, so you know, it is what it is. I do know the Across the Spider-Verse figures do, so there is that as well. And briefly, like I mentioned, he comes with these regular lenses, and then he also comes with the regular fist hands out the box. And then he has some web holding hands, and I will say the peg is pretty small, so just be careful while you're putting these hands in. You don't want to accidentally break it. I've come into a few times where I thought I almost was gonna break it, just because, you know, it was a little bit of a struggle to get these hands in. And we have two different type of open palm hands here. One is slightly more extended and one slightly more closed. And here is our web thwipping hands. And then I also changed the head. This is a little bit more closed on the eyelid right there. And yeah, that's about all of his accessories in this box. So let's get into the articulation and get into our conclusion. All right, so here we are. Articulation here starting at the neck and the head. That's about as far as he can look up. A little bit of a gap, but if you want to see, this is kind of how the joint is, or the holding point, I don't know what to call that, to hold the head in. Of course, they've got their little thing meshed out in the back there instead of it just being like a regular ball peg, but I think this does just in general help him have more range to look up and down. So pretty good all around. Usually on a couple of the Spider-Man figures, you could turn this neck around and it does kind of help him look up a little bit more with the way that this is. But I don't know if that will work on this one. At least mine is like super tight, so I haven't been trying too much with it. Arms, pretty good range like always. Bicep swivel. And you've got your bend here at the elbow. Good range there. Got your wrist swivel there. And butterfly joint is really, really good. You can cross the arms naturally, don't have to force it. And good thing here is it's not super tight. My friendly neighborhood Spider-Man actually was really tight here in the shoulders, so I could never really do all that what I'm doing here with him. I had to be very, very careful that I wasn't going to break the joint. So very, very glad that out the box he's not like that. Ab crunch, not too bad for just using the upper portion of that. Looking back, could be better. But of course, you know, using the whole portion here, still could be better, but not too bad once you actually use it forward. Let's see. There is a bit of that gappage right there, unfortunately, but he does get pretty good range. Be careful, it is on a ball peg right there, so the more you protrude from it, it will pop out. This, I know people are complaining about. I get what they were going for with it because they want to still keep it in line with this belt piece right here, just in case if you protrude it out a little bit more. But maybe they could have considered removing it. I don't know. It just kind of looks off like that because this could have either been red if they were going to do that. Yeah, this should have just been red if they were going to do that because the color doesn't necessarily make sense like that. So that's kind of on Tamashii. Kind of an oversight, I would say, but some people care, some people don't care, so it's really up to you. But I would say that overall right there, in terms of articulation, is pretty good. Legs can get almost into a full split. You probably could mess with these butt pieces. These butt pieces, man. I can't wait for the day that these just go away entirely. They're annoying in some ways, but yeah, pretty good still. Leg can kick up pretty well. And you do have a thigh swivel. Mine is a little tight. I don't want to risk it, but I haven't been able to do a full 360-degree turn with it. So I'm not sure if that's just mine, but I'm probably going to put it in some hot water later just to see, make sure there's nothing wrong with it there. Knees, pretty good range. Ankles, really, really good. Up, side to side, just like usual. Toe hinge. So everything's all there. Like I said, it's not that different from the other Spideys we've gotten. I think they found a good formula for the live action Spideys in terms of, you know, Tom Holland, Tasm. Tasm could be a little bit better in terms of, I think, the scaling and the proportions, but overall it's still a pretty decent figure. Raimi Spidey, good, just I think it's more of a design thing for people than articulation. With that being said, we're going to move into the conclusion, and if I can get the other version of this figure's head to fit on here, I'll just put it on so you guys can see, and then we'll get into our conclusion. Alright, so we hit the conclusion of this review, and like I said, I would show you if the head fit, and it actually does fit on the pig pretty perfectly. You just have to take this portion off if you want to do that. Personally though, I'm not too much a fan of Tamashii Nation's versions of the Tom Holland sculpts, so I won't be using them that often, but you know, I do like some of the Mafex ones, and if you use sticky tack or just try to fit it around the neck, I mean, it'll stay there. But definitely, I think those are the better options for a better visual of Tom Holland, if that's what you're going for. And in that case, I mean, we don't really know how long it'll be before Mafex even decides to, you know, do this version of Spider-Man, if they even can. It's been very rocky with seeing a lot of these different types of naming conventions for these different Spider-Man, so I really don't know. But for the figure itself, it's very good. Nothing, like I said, nothing too different from the previous iterations that we've gotten over the last year. That being TASM, Raimi Spidey, the Final Battle Edition Spider-Man. They're all pretty much the same. And I mean, you can clearly see that in the structure. If I just put this one in front of him, it's the exact same. So I do know a lot of people said the Marvel Legends did better at getting the kind of body a little bit better, proportions and whatnot. And I mean, I wouldn't disagree. I definitely think that Tamashii could have done a little bit more than just reuse the same mold, but it probably is a lot easier for them to do at the same time. And speaking of Hasbro, I mean, Hasbro, you need to do better, bro. You also need to continue to utilize newer molds more often, not going back to the same shit. So I mean, both companies can do better in that regard. But I definitely think either option is a good option. So if you don't like this one, definitely go for the Legends, as a lot of people seem to have fun with that one as well. There's nothing wrong with it. You probably could do a few mods to just give it more articulation. Other than that, you know, they're both good. So yeah, that pretty much is it for this review. I guess key takeaways, they probably could have included a Tom Holland sculpt in this one just in case. If people don't have one or don't want to use this battle damage version if they have the integrated suit version, so there's that. And maybe one more longer web accessory, and that's pretty much all I can really think of. I mean, it was a very short appearance for a suit. That's the best I could say. But yeah, hopefully this is a suit that makes a return, and they either make a newer version later on when that movie comes out, or, you know, they just re-release this one, because I mean, there's no reason not to. I do know though, if you're waiting for this figure in the States, usually the Marvel movie stuff typically doesn't take that long between Japan and US release, so just be a little patient. I believe it's a exclusive in Japan and it's a general release in the States, so you shouldn't really have that much problem finding this guy later on. These guys usually appear in not Big Bad Toy Store, they do appear there, but in stores, physical shops, Barnes and Nobles. If you want to find this, wait for Barnes and Nobles if you're an in-store shopping kind of person. That's the best advice I could offer you, because I know for a fact that they pop up there. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Spider-Man new red and blue suit review. I'm just gonna call it Final Swing Suit. That sounds cooler than red and blue suit. But without further ado, I'm gonna end it here. Catch you guys in the next one. It should be the GT Goku, figure. So hopefully that's the case, and I'm not doing something else. But thank you guys for being patient while I'm still recovering from being sick. But yeah, catch you guys in the next review. Peace.